Hey, what's going on, you guys? Jordan over here at the Movie Den. I hope you all are doing well. So the other day I got asked this question from one of my good friends on Instagram, and honestly, it's a question that I never really ever thought of, to be honest with you. I know I mainly focus on horror content, but I cover other stuff too, just the love of movies in general. But the question he asked me was, Jordan, what is your top 10 favorite horror movies of all time? And I had to take a step back and think about that because, I can rattle off 2 or 3 easy, just real quick like that. But it was the other 7 that I was having trouble trying to figure out. Okay, well, I love so many horror movies that it was hard to really commit to just 10, to be honest with you. So what I decided is I'm going to go ahead and go over 10 of my favorite horror movies of all time. Now, I do reserve the right to change these out a little bit. Only the last one is really ranked as like my number 1 favorite. And the last stipulation, as always, is I have to own a physical copy of the movie. Other than that, it's fair game. So we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and start with this one. Now, this is, I guess, number 10, but it's not necessarily my number 10 ranked. It's just the first one out of the 10 that I'm grabbing right here. This one is actually a brand new release from Second Sight, and we've got Scanners. I can finally put Scanners in my list. I love this movie. I did not have the Criterion one. I really wasn't a fan of the Criterion one, and Criterion's to me, I'm just not the biggest Criterion fan, and so I kind of held off with Scanners because I had a feeling something was coming, and Second Sight blew us away with this release. I need to do a full review of this. I have watched it. It looks beautiful. Of course, you guys know Scanners, an amazing David Cronenberg movie. It's almost like a superhero body horror movie in a way. I love this movie. Lots of fun. It's just a great film. And it spun off a lot of movies. You got Scanners 2. You've got Scanner Cop 1 and 2 from Vinegar Syndrome. I have that as well. But the original Scanners, you can't beat it. So I'm going to go with that for my number 10, Scanners. All right, guys. And now for our number 9, I'm sticking with David Cronenberg. And this one is not an original that he did. It is a remake, but we have got The Fly. And I got to say, I'm surprised we have not gotten a boutique label put out a 4K of this. Second Sight, I know you watch these videos. Come on. But anyways, The Fly, this movie is so well done. You've got Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum. I'm not a massive Jeff Goldblum fan, to be honest with you. But in this movie, he really does a fantastic job. And of course, Gina Davis, she's a gem. Love her. We actually just recently got The Long Kiss Goodnight from Arrow. Amazing movie with Gina Davis, but I really enjoy her in this one. And this movie is phenomenal. A body horror movie through and through. And the transformation of Jeff Goldblum's character slowly becoming the Fly is so well done. The most iconic scene, my opinion, of the movie is the whole bathroom fingernail scene. It's the worst. I hate the scenes where they deal with fingernails. They really make me queasy. And I've seen this so many times, and that scene every time gets me. But there we are. We're going with number 9, David Cronenberg's The Fly. All right, we're going to jump over to John Carpenter now. Kind of still in the body horror realm, but we have got The Thing. This movie, this is a lot of people's favorite, like number 1, and I could see why. Kurt Russell comes back to work with John Carpenter in this movie, and this is almost a perfect movie, and I love the way they end it to where you don't know who was the Thing, right? A lot of people think it's McCready, but who knows? Special effects in this is phenomenal. You guys all know that famous scene in the movie. But anyways, there we go. We're going to go with number 8, John Carpenter's The Thing. Moving on, this is probably the most iconic found footage movie of all time, and probably the biggest inspiration for found footage movies moving forward from when this came out. But we've got the Blair Witch Project from Second Sight. And I remember seeing this as a kid and scared the absolute crap out of me, was scared to go into woods camping. I remember after seeing this movie and going camping with my dad, and we used to go camping by this lake, and I was scared to go off and just play by myself because of this movie. it did something to me. And this movie is one of the reasons why I love found footage movies. And found footage movies, they just really put you in the movie itself and makes you really feel everything that goes on in that movie, you know, as opposed to your standard movies where you can kind of distance yourself from the film. But with found footage, it's kind of hard to do that. And the Blair Witch Project does it masterfully. This second sight release is, well, it won my release of the year of 2024. The documentary in here is phenomenal. The booklet in here is amazing. Everything about this second sight killed it with this release. But we're going to go with number 7, The Blair Witch Project. Moving on to number 6. This movie is not the first one in the series. This is actually the third one. In my opinion, it's the best. But we have got The Exorcist III. Now, I know that's sacrilegious to some of you saying, you know, you like The Exorcist III and you think it's better than the original Exorcist. I do. I think Brad Dourif's performance in this, I've always said this, is Oscar worthy. His dialogue in the movie, he just pours his heart into every single scene of this movie. Has, I think, the best jump scare in any horror movie out there, and it's done right. What else? George C. Scott. You know, I love him. I really like him in The Changeling, but he does really good in this movie. And this is actually was directed and the screenplay written by the author of the original novel. He came in and did this and kind of did a mic drop. He's like, let me show you my directing chops here with this. And man, does he do a good job with this movie. So that's going to be my number 6 pick, is going to be The Exorcist III. And this is one of those that I had talked about earlier that I thought, yep, automatically, this is up there as my favorites. All right, guys. So this next one, this is another great series. I'm mainly talking about the first one. The second one's really good too. But we have Clive Barker's Hellraiser. As you can see, I'm a big fan of body horror. And this movie right here, it's so well done. And it deals with so much. Surface level, it's pretty wild. But if you dig deep into what it's about, it's really dark. It just deals with individuals' pleasure and how far you would be willing to go and how far that pleasure, if you continue to dive deeper and deeper, where it would take you. Clive Barker did an amazing job with this movie. And of course, it has stood the test of time. Creepy movie, amazing special effects, awesome movie. Can't recommend this movie enough. Hellraiser. And of course, as always, all these will be listed down below in the description for you guys to go ahead and pick up if you guys want to grab a copy of any of these. And if any of those links are to the movie room, make sure to use my discount code MovieDen10. That'll get you a one-time 10% off your order so you can get some of these and add it to your collection. Moving on. This one was a recent, I had never seen these movies until actually last year. And Umbrella came out with a collection of them. I saw the first one last year on Shudder, and I was hooked immediately. This is another found footage movie, but we've got Hell House LLC. This movie has quickly made it to the top of my favorite found footage movie. Now, I respect what the Blair Witch Project did. I respect that movie, and I think it's a phenomenal movie. But this movie, I do like more, I think. Yeah. This movie just makes me feel so unsettled from start to finish. The way they do that Netflix-esque documentary at the beginning is so well done. The camera work in this movie is phenomenal. The clown is scary as hell. Like, I'm scared of clowns from as a kid from the original Tim Curry's It. And, you know, it's really those kind of clowns that creep me out, but something about this one, it's scary. Now, the Carmichael Manor is a close second, but I got to give it to the original. For number 4, we have got Hell House LLC. All right, guys, number 3. This is an absolute classic. Some say the original slasher. Nothing much else to say about this movie. We have Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie left an impression with audiences and really solidified Tobe Hooper as a horror icon with this movie. Masterfully done. The way that he makes you think that you're seeing probably the most gory movie ever out there, which, trust me, there are movies that are a lot worse than this even at the time. However, the way it was filmed, he left the gore and all that violence up to your imagination. because a lot of people swore up and down this is the bloodiest movie ever, when really it's not. And like I've said before, he made you rely on your imagination for this movie, which is arguably scarier than anything anybody can show you. Amazing movie, and something to pair with this that I would highly recommend you guys pick up from Anchor Bay. Yes, they're back and I love it. But anyways, Dinner with Leatherface. It is a entire documentary on Gunnar Hansen, who was the original Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But anyways, that's just a little side note. For my number 3 pick, we have got Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Moving on to number 2. So the first time I saw this movie, scared me to death. And I didn't think I was going to be able to make it because of one scene. But we were talking about Robert Eggers' The Witch. I think this is his best movie he's ever done. The atmosphere of this movie, the way the film looks, the tension building, the music, the dialogue, just everything about this. I think, in my opinion, this would be considered Robert Eggers' magnum opus, which is his first movie. Funny enough. But the scene in this movie that made me go, I don't know if I can finish this movie, the very opening scene when the witch steals the baby, and that whole scene right there, because that's something that I have trouble with in movies, is anything that deals with animals and kids. I could pretty much handle anything else, but it's those two that I have trouble with. And when I saw that scene, I remember thinking, I'm going to have to walk out of this because I'm not going to be able to watch it. Just a personal thing that I struggle with seeing. And they allude to it, but they don't show it, thankfully. But man, this movie is so good. And this movie just kind of leaves you on edge and gripping your seat the entire time. The anxiety-inducing atmosphere that Robert Eggers puts in this movie, paired with the score, it just builds and builds and builds. And it doesn't let you go until the very end. And it crescendos at the very end, at the very top. It's such a good movie. I could talk about this movie for hours. Fantastic movie. But anyways, my number 2 pick of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Witch. And guys, that leaves me with my number 1. Now, if you guys know me at all, you guys already know what my number 1 pick is. If you don't, then I guess you're in for a surprise, but it shouldn't be a surprise. We have got John Carpenter's 1978's original Halloween. This movie, to me, is just the perfect, iconic slasher movie. This paved the way for so many slasher movies to come since this came out in 1978. The iconic Michael Myers mask, the featureless, eerie look. It's a very simple idea, but it delivers. And I think the scene for me that stands out the most, that makes Michael Myers so creepy. It's a simple scene where he takes Bob and he stabs him into the wall and he's hanging there. And it's simple. Michael Myers just examines him in a way, just kind of tilts his head and looks at him. And I don't know what it is about that scene that always sticks out to me. And that's Michael Myers to me. I love this movie. This was actually, if I remember correctly, the first horror movie I had ever seen. This was my dad's favorite horror movie. And so we would watch it all the time. And it became my favorite. You know, there for a little bit when I was really young, I didn't like it because that was his favorite movie. And I thought it was, oh, okay, Halloween again. But man, as I got older, I found myself loving it more and more to this day. It's my absolute favorite. It's the best horror movie out there. And if you disagree with me, this is one where I will die on a hill where you were wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's other great ones out there, but this is personally my favorite, 1978's John Carpenter's Halloween. And guys, that is my list. And again, I reserve the right to change these out every so often. Halloween's always going to be my number 1. That is a non-negotiable. Always will be my number 1 pick. But guys, that's the video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of my picks. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your top 10. I'd love to read your top 10. And again, remember guys, there's other movies out there that I absolutely love, but these had to be ones I actually own physical copies of the movie. But anyways, guys, like I said, that's going to be the end of the video. You all take care.